All right, so thanks, Council, for having me here. So I stand here in opposition of the rezoning of 105 Keefer. We seem to fixate on the financial and physical aspects of this development, but I believe there's merit in the lens of human rights and historical context. Particularly, let's focus on the nuance of themes raised in the city's recently updated Heritage Action Plan. Specifically past and present culture, it plays intrinsically into our perception of space. We stand here on the traditional unceded territory of the Squamish, Musqueam, and Tsleil-Waututh peoples. That's important because in order to actually reach that intent of reconciliation, we have to hear what those people have been saying. We have to listen, and we have to agree to not make the same mistakes. And that's what's been asked of us, and my fear is we're trending towards the wrong side of history again. So let's start there. For over 15,000 years, there stood a village known as Huehue in Stanley Park, right at the place marked by Lumberman's Arch in current day. This arch stands atop a site completely obscured from surface level. This was a site of great prosperity and meaning for coastal indigenous peoples. So how is this relevant? Erasure. This is an example I fear we are extrapolating in an effort to develop investment ghost towns that do not contribute to the fabric of our city. People joke about Chinatown becoming the next Yale town, but the more severe trajectory, in my opinion, is that it becomes the next Cole Harbor, an area that was once truly mixed use in every sense of the phrase, but is now a parking lot for luxury yachts and a forest of unlicensed Airbnbs and empty condos. This is why I stand here today, because it seems we need more context. Chinatown has survived some of the worst conditions our city has put out. It was built on the edge of a mudflat where nobody else wanted to live. It frequently flooded. The people there survived the riots of 1907. They survived subsequent years of destructive narratives about cheater floors, secret tunnels, prostitution, and opium dens. These were all used to control and suppress the voices of folks who live there. Similar to how disrespectful it seems to have Lumberman's Arch placed directly over top of Huehue, I should not need to explain why it's offensive to build a structure towering over the Chinatown Memorial Monument. Chinatown needs our attention. It need not arrive in platitudes and ceremony, but in actions that demonstrate we have listened to what folks in the neighborhood have been saying for over 100 years. This is not a new problem. How many times does the community need to say no before their voices are heard? The City of Vancouver and developers need to do much more in relation to social housing. We need to limit the height and bulk of the proposed development and respect historical context. In regards to seniors' social housing, it appears that neither the city nor developer have listened or responded to concerns raised by the community. We're actively pushing seniors out of this neighborhood by restricting the number of units in this development to 25. Many people here have spoken for much more than that. This building cannot correct the mistakes made in nearby developments in recent years, but we can effectively address that and move it in the right direction. And I think others have spoken a little more eloquently about that, so I'll expedite the process. These units should come cheaper so that people can actually occupy them and afford to live there, not just in the short term, but for longer term homes. The height and bulk should be reconsidered, and some people have voiced that it should go directly back to the drawing board. That's not my area of expertise, but I think we should do more to listen and consider that process. In closing, I guess, Chinatown, it's still here. The folks who made it a national heritage place are still here. I fear we're repeating the past mistakes. I fear there is still lingering anti-Asian sentiments expressed in early Vancouver that have not gone away, that have reared their head in very ugly instances, foreign buyers, et cetera, et cetera. There's misuse and appropriation of lands, and I feel that there is suppression of voices in this community to this day. By ignoring the concerns that they voice here, we're effectively saying that their voices don't matter, and that's simply not true. I think we owe a tremendous debt to the folks in Chinatown who've been here this whole time for their tenacity, for their strength, and 130 years of perseverance through neglect. As a city, we need to aim higher, we need to be much better, we need to listen, and we must set a precedent for consultation, and it starts with projects like this. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much for being here to speak tonight.